We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180, 1230 KGEO, 1410 KERI, and now in Albuquerque, New Mexico on 1000 KKIM.
We need to get some business people from New Mexico. Maybe the Chamber of Commerce leader in Albuquerque would be a good person to bring on.
I think so, but I think we're going to be soon having the governor of New Mexico on.
That's true, too.
Yeah, that'll be something I'll be working on in the next couple of weeks. Our guest in studio, Cindy Pollard, the president of the, not the minor, the major, greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce.
You know, earlier I started to talk to Cindy about some of the programs that they have, and I interrupted her and took her in a different direction. So, Cindy, let's go back and talk about some of the new programs or programs that the Chamber offers.
Absolutely. We launched this year a program that we're really excited about. We call it Social Media Therapy. And we've had 2 sessions thus far, and we've had great turnout. We've had great response. And it's, sponsored by a couple of local businesses, PAS Associates, ARC Technology, and the Marcom Group. And the first 2 sessions dealt with one was on Twitter, the other was LinkedIn, and the upcoming session for April will be dealing with Facebook. We will use the feedback on the evaluations that we get from the participants to drive the 3 remaining sessions.
And those are incredible programs. I mean, it's great when you can have a local business can go into something like that and learn about, say, Facebook and Twitter and realize how important it is for them to use it in their business.
Absolutely. It was really helpful for folks to determine whether or not the social media tool was for them.
Exactly.
You hear so much about it. A lot of people have ventured into it in their personal lives, but, not really sure what the relevance is to business. And the first 2 sessions help them to do just that. We'll be doing the same thing with Facebook.
Well, it's interesting. We use it for the show and use it quite heavily. We have fans and people that listen to the show in Iraq and on the East Coast. So it's amazing how many people we can reach through Facebook and YouTube on this show. I
know I went to the Twitter program and I realized how non-knowledgeable I am about Twitter, and basically Twitter is a little bit scary to me.
Anything that's unfamiliar can be scary, and we're hoping to demystify that so that businesses can determine whether or not those very valuable tools are for them.
Well, I think what scared me the most was that you really don't have control of your Twitter account. Other people can take advantage of it.
Now, Cindy, you're talking to a man here who just now got an automatic car instead of a stick. I mean, he's that insecure with technology, so...
Yeah, right.
When do you put away your abacus?
What's that?
What's an abacus?
I was stones.
Abacus, wasn't he the third baseman for the Dodgers last year? So I was going to ask you a question before Clay interrupted me on the candidates forum that you have.
And that's on the PAC.
On the PAC, right. Now, do you find sometimes there can be a conflict with some of your members in terms of who you might endorse and support and give money to?
Well, it hasn't happened since I've been on board, but I would imagine, at some point, absolutely, there could be. I believe there have been in the past. But, one of the things that's most important to us, and, as the PAC committee enters into the dialogue and the discussion and the interviews and takes a look at the issues that are important to us in a candidate, our focus and our priority is to identify those candidates whom we believe will be best for business.
Exactly.
And so if you have a personal opinion that differs from that, we kindly and respectfully ask that you leave that at the door, because when we get around the table and we're talking about what's good for business, generally there is one candidate that will emerge over the others. Sometimes in a race we will see 2 candidates. And if that's the case, as we did last time around, we might not make an endorsement of one candidate over the other, but we would say we believe that either of these candidates would be great for business.
And the reason I ask that question is I've been on the short side of that one, because and I love your answer, because you have to look at it in terms of business. This is a business organization. We're looking out for the welfare of our members, and in that regard, this candidate A, is going to be much better than B or C, and this is why we're endorsing that particular candidate or that issue.
Absolutely.
Because the Chamber nationally will endorse certain issues from a business standpoint, and they've gotten a lot of slack for that, but I think that's part of their role.
Absolutely, and we handle our issues through a completely different process. We handle that through our Governmental Review Council, and we have tackled some tough tough topics. Just in the few months that I've been on board,
Sure.
We have taken a position of support on CEQA reform. It is an outdated, antiquated law that has wreaked havoc on our economy. We realize that it's very important to protect the environment, but it's also equally important to make sure that we have a strong economy. And so CEQA hasn't necessarily always allowed that to happen. Mm-hmm. So we've taken a position of support on CEQA reform. We are currently tackling the issue of immigration reform. Our Governmental Review Council has put forth a recommendation to our board, which they will be reviewing soon for either a support or oppose. But that's another tough issue. We also have heard from our county administrative officer and our city manager about issues that they're currently facing with one another. Priority for most right now is the city-county tax split. Mm-hmm. We had presentations from both of those, and those are all very timely issues, tough issues that impact the economy and impact local business.
Sure. Our guest in studio, Cindy Pollard, the president of the Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce.
Cindy, I'm going to personally refrain from asking you your opinion on any of those things because I don't want to put you in a negative situation. But you're really tackling some interesting things, and it really doesn't matter whether it's a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, as long as they support business.
It's whatever is best for business. And, traditionally or typically, it is the Republican platform that has been the business platform, but we see a number of pro-business Democrats. We see there's a huge group of moderate Dems up at the state, and regardless of who is in office, we want the person that is going to be best for position or for business. Politics and their position aside, it's what's best for business.
Well, I guess you've got another real challenge with this high-speed rail that's proposed coming through, whether you support that or don't support that.
The high-speed rail alignment right now is creating some challenges. I believe several years ago, and I think this happened when I was actually living away, but the city and others believed that a downtown alignment was a good place to be. Now there is concern over that alignment and, the businesses and the history that would be uprooted as a result. So hard decisions, tough decisions, a lot of work to do on that.
Same situation with the West Side Parkway Freeway interchange they're planning on putting through down on the southwest side of town.
Right. Whenever there is progress, and I think, you could include improved access and roads as progress, there will be some challenges, because if you come into an existing community and you're looking at connecting routes, from one point to another, there will be some disruption of existing properties, and it's always tough. It's always difficult. But on the one hand, it is a sign of progress.
But we can't sit still.
That's correct. And I think everyone would agree that we have some surface streets that go nowhere or, create huge bottlenecks. And we need to address that. We're a growing community, and there's, Rosedale Highway is a perfect example. It's horrible.
What's the biggest project that you see the Chamber needs to get involved with in the future?
I don't think there is one single issue or project that the Chamber needs to get involved in. I think that's the great thing about the Chamber is that for as many businesses as we have, and we are 1,300 members strong and growing, there will be 1,300 different issues. And, we need to be involved and make a difference in those issues that are important to our members.
Bakersfield has been the leader in the recovery in California, the economy. And what do you see the Chamber's position in that?
The Chamber, through our work in business development and education, through our work in advocacy, we are able to take on those issues and provide those types of things that help grow business. And when businesses grow, jobs are increased. When we have growing businesses, more jobs, we have a stronger economy.
And we've got a great Chamber of Commerce in Bakersfield.
Yes, we
Thank
do.
you.
The Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce.
Thank
the
you.
Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce.
Cindy, thank you so much for being
My
here.
pleasure.
But before you close, we've got other chambers that do a tremendous job as well.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
my chamber in Tehachapi does a great job. We've got a couple seconds left, and I just wanted to make a comment. We lost a giant of the 20th century this week.
Yes.
A woman who, along with Ronald Reagan, really shaped the latter part of this century. Margaret Thatcher passed away this week, and our condolences go to the English people and to her family. And thank you, Maggie, for doing the job you did. And I highly recommend Iron Lady with Meryl Streep. She did a fantastic job playing Margaret Thatcher. On that note, we will be back in 167 hours. Thank you for joining us on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180.